A lone destroyer escort arrived at Pearl Harbor, but this destroyer escort didn't come here to witness the attack. The war was already won, Japan was crushed, and the Nazis trampled. The year is 1946, and the destroyer's name is USS Booth DE-170. She came here to end her service with the Stars and Stripes. She was decommissioned and inactivated in July of the same year. She was put on the disposal list, but was specially listed as pending for a possible transfer to a foreign government. 2 decades later, a call from Manila arrived. The Canon-class of destroyer escorts is a specific type of destroyer escorts in a larger family of American destroyer escorts in the Second World War, since all of them derive from a single design. The American destroyer escorts are really just their own version of the British Hunt class of destroyer escorts, as the Hunt class proved their worth in the raging waters of the Atlantic. The British themselves directly approached the American naval staff to provide their own fleet of destroyer escorts, and they proposed a fleet of 100 of them. The variants of them differ, but none are quite major. The British influence in the program could be seen in their British-style bridge, and in the end, 50 of them was given to the British SBDEs. The Cannon class is the DET variant, and its difference is it had the original diesel-electric system with a slightly modified hull. All in all, around 116 were ordered, but only 72 were built, and several were built intentionally for the French and Brazilian navies. A good majority of the Canon-class destroyer escorts will find new homes after the end of the war, including the Philippines. USS Booth was commissioned on the 19th of September 1943 and was immediately put into action. She was named after an officer who died in Arizona during the attack on Pearl Harbor. During her service with the USN, she escorted convoys to the Atlantic until the war in Europe was over. Then she crossed the Panama Canal alongside her escort division and served in the Pacific until the war ended there too. USS Booth went through an extensive riveting program to get her into shape and worthy of the age. Under the Military Assistance Program, she was loaned to the Filipino Navy in 1967. She was renamed as Dato Kalantiao and was commissioned to the Filipino Navy on the 15th of December 1967. In 1975, she was reclassified as a frigate, and 3 years later, in 1978, she was fully part of the Filipino Navy and the Filipino authorities were able to convince the US Navy that she was crucial for the defense of Filipino waters. The service came to an end when she ran aground due to Typhoon Clara in 1981, with the loss of 79 of her 97 crew. USS Amick DE-168 was commissioned to the US Navy on the 26th of July 1943, named after a US officer killed in the USS Astoria. She acted as the flagship of Escort Division 15 and completed 9 round-trip voyages in the Atlantic, though only once a convoy was attacked, which resulted in 0 losses. Her division was assigned to the Pacific as Nazi Germany surrendered, and she completed the voyage there until Japan capitulated. She also oversaw the unconditional surrender of Japanese troops in northern Palau. She was decommissioned in 1947. She was on the reserve until 1955, where she was loaned to the new Japanese Navy, quite ironically, as Asashi, until 1975, where she was returned to the USN. In 1976, as the condition was starting to become a nuisance for the USN, she was sold to the Filipino Navy. Amick was stowed to South Korea to undergo riveting and modernization until 1980, where she was officially commissioned as a frigate to the Filipino Navy and given the name of BRP Datu Sikatuna. Her service to the Filipino Navy lasted for 9 years, where she was decommissioned in 1989, most likely due to lack of spare parts and maintenance problems. USS Atherton was commissioned to the US Navy on the 29th of August 1943, named after a lieutenant on the USS Meredith, which was sunk by the Zuikaku. She escorted Atlantic convoys until 1944, where she was reassigned to the Pacific. During her time in the Atlantic, she sank the U-853. She was patrolling off Saipan when the war ended. She and her sister ship Amick was loaned to the rebranded Japanese Navy as Hatsushi, and just like Amick or Asashi, she was returned to the USN in 1975. Just like Amick again, she was sold to the Filipino Navy and ran extensive refitting in South Korea. She was formally commissioned to the Filipino Navy in 1980 as BRP Raja Humabon, until 1993 where she was decommissioned. However, she was recalled and recommissioned in 1996 after another extensive refit to remove several of her equipment due to lack of spare parts. She took part in exercises with her former Navy in 2009, 2010, and 2013, which by that time she became a patrol vessel. As a patrol vessel in the funky region of South China Sea or West Philippine Sea, she saw quite some action near Scarborough. She was finally decommissioned in 2018 after 75 years of service in multiple navies. Also, there are plans to convert her to a museum ship. Good for them, eh?